Here now is Matt Austin and Ginger Gadsden with Florida's Fourth Estate. Sponsored by Light Orlando, delivering hope together.
Hey, welcome back to Florida's Fourth Estate, everyone. I have a question for you. Actually, we're going to have a lot of questions, but the question I have right now, Matt, is how well do you know this great state of Florida? I think we're about to find out.
This is the one question I might get right today. Not well. I've lived here my entire life. I love this state, but we're going to question how well we know. We're doing a little Florida trivia today on Florida's Fourth Estate. So we're going to find out. We're going to test your mettle a little bit. And we brought in a guy that we just personally love who has managed trivia nights in years past. And he always makes us laugh at work as well, doesn't he, Ginger?
And always corrects us. He will always correct. If we get a Florida fact wrong in a show,
who's this guy you're talking about?
Whatever. You know it all. And Steve Griffiths. We call you Floor Director Steve, but you have many jobs here. But you also have many jobs in life. I love that you know so much trivia in general, but you know a lot of Florida trivia. Hi, Steve. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
I like that you are being called Florida trivia guru.
I took a little creative license with that, by the way.
So you're our resident smarty pants, which is why we have you on today.
That's right.
You're going to test us. You're going to test
you
us.
Say so.
Yeah. So, I mean, you're the best we got. The best we could think of. He's a funny guy. He's a great guy. By the way, if you're watching this, if you're streaming this, we've got people like Crystal joining us. She is, go ahead and help us out with the answers if you know the answers, because we're going to have a little fun today. And
we don't know the questions. I don't know the questions. And I do have to say that I have a bit of a cold today, and my cold is going to sound like I'm typing at a keyboard, like looking for answers, but it's just a cold.
No Googling. That's right. And if anybody who's commenting is Googling to help us, that is cheating, and that is wrong. Okay?
And I will stop the game. I will stop the game.
You will turn this car around and just end it.
No cheating. No cheating.
Oh I'm nervous. Wait a minute. I got it. Steve, you look official. This makes me. Let me do it now. Okay.
Jeez. Now I'm doomed.
Wow.
There we go.
Okay. Now I can see answers now. All right, we're ready. Steve.
All right, Steve, give us that first question, buddy.
Okay. Well, you said this was Florida, but this is more Central Florida-ish.
Okay.
Here we go. Question number 1. What is the name of the official mascot of the University of Central Florida?
All right.
Started with an easy one.
Okay.
Easy one.
All right, Ginger, tell me when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Okay.
I put Mr. Knight.
Mr. Knight? I put Knights.
Not even Sir Knight?
Whatever.
My screen's a little foggy. What did you write, Matt?
I wrote Knights.
Okay.
It's the Knights, right?
I need final answers.
I'm going with Nightmare.
Knight. No.
Okay.
Nightmare.
Nighty? You're going with Nighty.
She's going with lingerie. That makes sense.
What a disappointing start. You were both incorrect. The actual answer is Nitro.
Nitro. That is it. Okay. So for that, I have a sound effect for all of us.
Okay. How do we do?
I suppose I have to keep score too. That's 0-0 in the first round. They're all tied up at 0.
For creativity, Steve.
Okay, question number 2. Contrary to popular belief, Lovebugs likely originated from Central and South America and not a lab at this college.
Not
have
a
you
lab at
this? A lab?
Not okay. It is going to be Embry-Riddle. Oh, sorry, I should write it down.
What are you doing? This is
so write down the answer.
Question 2. Question 2 when she ruined it.
Oh my God.
All right, I got my answer.
Like
I'm guessing she's always like this on the podcast, especially. All right, she's saying Embry-Riddle. I'm saying University of Florida. Yeah.
One of you is correct, and that is Matt.
Oh, baby. Yeah.
I would like Matt to reverse those 2 letters.
What is wrong with you? This is a family show.
I went because they fly, and Embry-Riddle is a great aeronautical university.
That makes 0 sense.
Justify that thinking.
Whatever.
All right, question number 3. Excuse me. This iconic Central Florida landmark measures 160 feet in diameter and weighs approximately 16 million pounds.
Ginger Cat, you have a feel about this?
I don't have anything. Who can I see some of the answers people are putting in?
No.
No,
Let's
that's
see.
not how trivia works.
Yeah. Okay. Shelly, I'll give you one. Shelly says the Orlando Eye. Tim Knight says the I for eyesore.
No,
And
that's a
Charlie
hobo.
says Launchpad number 7. You want to go with a phone a friend, you can go with that. My answer is none of those.
I'm gonna go with. Hey, I'm so bad at this. All right, you ready?
You really are.
Whatever.
All right, what you got? A rocket? A rocket is okay. Okay, I'm gonna go with the Epcot ball, Spaceship Earth, or whatever they call it.
Yes. I was going to ask you to be more specific, but you were more specific.
Yes.
Okay,
The
man.
answer is Spaceship Earth at Epcot.
Steve,
So-
I'm liking this game.
Okay, question number 4. This astronaut was commander of the Apollo 16 mission and became the 9th person to walk on the moon.
Oh, well, Ginger's gonna know this. Right? She's already writing. She knows all the space stuff.
I don't know it, but I think I love space. That's why my answer was a rocket.
I mean, did
It's gonna be my default
did
answer.
Buzz Aldrin go back? I don't know. I don't know anybody after him
What?
and Neil. I'm
I
just gonna
know
make
it's
a
not wrong.
guess. I know it's wrong. All right, who are you putting? What's the right answer?
I put John Young.
Is it John Young? I put Neil Armstrong. I know it's wrong. I know it's wrong.
One of you is correct, and that is Ginger.
Oh, it was John Young.
I'm redeemed. Thank goodness.
Good job, Gigi. You're doing great. All right, Steve,
right.
give us one more.
Nicknamed the King, this NASCAR legend has the most Daytona 500 wins at 7.
Dale Earnhardt. Okay, I got Richard Petty, who I think is known as the King. What do you think, Steve? Which one?
And
But I
drum
but
roll,
listen,
the winner of the
I
game
have it on
is
the other side of my
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. You cannot do that.
I had 2 answers.
sorry. That's not how trivia works.
Yes. Woo, Richard Petty, baby. Steve Griffiths, I can see why you did trivia for so long. You're very good. You picked fantastic questions. And if there is one person at work who makes me laugh even harder than Ginger does, it is Steve Griffiths. So I'm so glad we got to get you on the podcast.
I wish I could say the same about you, Matt. Thanks. I had fun. Thanks for having me on, guys.
You're the
See you
worst.
downstairs.
From tough Florida questions to a Disney pop quiz, did you know Mickey Mouse could be gearing up for a legal battle? More on the fight to keep Steamboat Willie from becoming public property.
Welcome back to Florida's Fourth Estate. Anything that happens to have anything to do with Mickey Mouse and the Mouse House is always a concern to the Central Florida area. We have Disney holics around here. And one thing that has popped up in the national media is the fact that Steamboat Willie, like the first version of Mickey Mouse, the copyright is coming up. So does that mean that I can just draw Mickey Mouse and I can stand outside of Disney and have a Mickey Mouse shirt and sell it and make my millions, Ginger? Is that what all this means?
I don't think you're going to make millions on that, because when you see Steamboat Willie, he doesn't look like the Mickey we have come to know and love today. He looks like a rat.
He's a poor man's Mickey.
He really is. So, but when you talk about these issues, will you be able to do whatever you want to do with the image of Mickey Mouse? That is a sensitive subject. So someone we want to have talk about that is Aaron Moss. He is a copyright attorney, and he does a blog called Copyright Lately, which I love the name of that. Aaron, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Because there's so many layers to this story, and most people think, oh, copyright's up, we can do whatever we want. Walk us through what really is going to happen next year.
Sure. So this goes back to 1928 when Steamboat Willie first was released. I think it was November of that year. And copyright at that time was limited to a 28-year term and a 28-year additional term if you renewed it. Over the years, through various legislation, from the likes of Sonny Bono, that got extended to now 95 years from the date of creation with respect to, or the date of publication with respect to something like Steamboat Willie. So copyright ends at the end of 95 years, which puts us on January 1st, 2024. Steamboat Willie will be in the public domain. However,
but there's a
I feel
but
a big
coming.
but coming.
and there's the but. So what does that mean? So if you want to have all your friends come over and charge them to play Steamboat Willie on your TV, you may not have any friends after that night.
What a lucrative business that sounds.
You would not receive a cease and desist letter from Disney. Okay, so you can use Steamboat Willie. You can use probably even the character Steamboat Willie, so long as you are not using any additional iterations of Mickey Mouse that were added later. Okay, and you alluded to that at the top. At the beginning, he really was rat-like. So he had black eyes, he had small ears, he had a pointy nose, and over time, his eyes were enlarged, pupils were added, his ears became more pronounced, his nose was shortened, and the Mickey of today, and certainly if you look at the evolution, does not look a whole lot like the Mickey of Steamboat Willie. Those later versions of Mickey Mouse are still protected. So if you were to use the Steamboat Willie character, it really has to be kind of the snapshot, that moment in time is really what you're going to be limited to.
Okay, so we're getting the Mickey Mouse before he had plastic surgery is what it sounds like, because he's had a lot of work done. You just mentioned a nose job.
Pre-Botox
Mickey. He's had his eyes done. So specifically, that one image is what the copyright is good.
That version of the character. So that can be used if you wanted to do, the new adventures of Steamboat Willie, and you were to use that character and put him into a new story. That would be okay. Now, the other big but here is that Disney still owns trademark protection in Mickey Mouse. And unlike copyright, which is fixed for a limited period of time, trademark rights can be perpetual. So long as the mark is being used to identify the exclusive source of a particular good or service, you can have trademark protection. So what that means is that, Disney obviously has a robust licensing division, and they sell, any number of items of merchandise. And in fact, I've noticed that lately they've been selling more Steamboat Willie related merchandise. I think they even have a tie-in with H&M, if I'm not mistaken. So they're certainly trying to, in advance of the public domain date on this character, put a stake in the ground with regard to, hey, we also own trademark rights. So it can sometimes be tricky to figure out where does the copyright end and where does the trademark begin. Because if you have a copyright that is no longer in the public domain, you can't use trademark law to block somebody from simply using the copyright. In other words, in a new work, from showing the film, from doing any number of things that would be what we call expressive works. What you can't do, however, is use that character to somehow identify a source that is not Disney by making it look like it's either sponsored by the trademark owner or that it was done with the authorization.
Okay,
of it.
so I can't have a Steamboat Willie daycare center or something.
Or if
like
you did
that.
a Steamboat Willie version of a show that was like, watch News 6 every day at 5:30, and Steamboat Willie says, is that what you're talking about? Kind of break this down.
Yeah, no, I think both of your examples are uses of trademarks. So those are really designed, and look, there can be fights about this, and there will certainly be court cases as more and more iconic properties enter the public domain. So we saw Winnie the Pooh a few years ago. And I'm sure that you guys, if you're horror fans, have seen Blood and Honey.
Yeah, Blood and Honey.
Flick.
Yeah.
Oh man, what a magical.
Could that happen
movie.
to Steamboat Willie?
It could, and from what I'm hearing, the folks that put out the Blood and Honey movie are also interested in adapting other public domain works. And in a way, it's kind of full circle, because many Disney films were adapted from public domain fairy tales. So you have Grimm's Fairy, Snow White, and a number of others were originally fairy tales that were in the public domain. The Disney-fied version of it is still protected, but somebody else can do a different version. And just as an example, with Blood and Honey, so Winnie the Pooh, much like Mickey Mouse, changed over time. The character as it exists in the A.A. Milne books, which is the character version that's in the public domain, he didn't have, for example, the trademark red shirt. And so he didn't have a lot of the facial features. And so if you look at the character in the Blood and Honey film, they really did take pains to try to make it look different than the Disney version. Now, whether they went far enough, so far Disney has not made any public statements about that. I'm sure that a part of them would like nothing more than for Disney to complain, because that might actually drive publicity.
Get them
for
some
the
attention.
Correct.
So it could be strategic. But the other thing is, for example, Tigger was not introduced until later in the series. So you could not, for example, put out a horror movie with Winnie the Pooh and Tigger, because Tigger is still protected. So yes, you can take the character, you can do a 180 on the character and put it in a new expressive work. There will be fights, though, about what is a trademark use and what is a copyright use. And I expect that we're going to be trying to develop this area of law for many years, because so many iconic properties are going to be entering the public domain in the next 10, 15, 20 years.
I like the idea of maybe a Murder Mickey or a Mickey the Mummy. I could see that maybe becoming a thing. And here's the thing, though. Disney is voracious when it comes to defending its brand. It is so intense about defending its intellectual properties. We've seen that locally. Daycare centers who put up a mural of a Disney character. There have been lawsuits in which Disney comes in and sues them and makes them paint over those Disney characters in the daycare center. So it's fair to say Disney is going to find out exactly where the line is that they're allowed to sue people, Aaron, and they're probably going to take full advantage of that.
You're absolutely right. Disney, they know what they're doing when it comes to copyright law and filing lawsuits, but they also know what they're doing when it comes to strategy and when to hold back. So it'll be interesting to see what they allow, what they don't allow, what people do, what people, and is it even of interest?
When it comes to copyright, trademark, my head spins. I think all of us have a really hard time understanding it. And that is why you, Aaron Moss, have a safe career for the rest of your because we need people like you to decipher all of this mess.
Amen. And thank you for watching Florida's Fourth Estate. You can download it from wherever you listen to podcasts or watch anytime on News 6 Plus.